Well, I can see you now.
You can see me clearly.
I can see you. I can hear you.
Okay, that's good. I went off of my Wi-Fi, which is very counterintuitive. You would think Wi-Fi would make it better, but I guess not. So here we are on data, but that's fine.
Which company does your Wi-Fi? We'll send them a very strongly worded letter.
Yeah, it's Cox Contour or something. I
Okay.
yeah, I tweet them sometimes because I'm like super petty, which is so embarrassing to admit.
You would think that Cox Cable of all cable companies would work for me.
I know exactly. Do you like have stake in their company?
No, but if someone wants to buy me stock, I'll take it.
Amazing. Well, for everyone who is just hopping on, how are you? I know I asked that, but I don't want to be rude and not ask again for people who are just hopping on.
Oh, I'm so good. It's noon here in New York City. You're in California, right?
Yeah, I'm in San Diego. I live in LA, but I'm back in my family home right now.
Amazing. Love San Diego.
It's
Uh,
beautiful.
it's beautiful. The weather's always nice there. It's
Hmm.
lovely. I do love San Diego. Yeah, everything's good here. I'm just chilling in my Hell's Kitchen apartment, as you guys are all very familiar with the inside of my apartment these days. Um,
Yes, we are. We've had a tour at this point just from all the different clips.
yeah, so it's everything's okay here, and yeah, for everyone just tuning in, Eva was granted this interview by the powers that be at VH1. They were so sweet to give her this opportunity to have a little chat with me. And I'm so proud of you for doing all of these interviews. It's
Oh,
so exciting.
thank
But just for
you.
the folks watching who want to know, they do have to approve all interviews through VH1. But Eva's a good little. You're good and you're professional. And here we are. And now we can talk about whatever you want.
Yay, I'm glad you think I'm professional. Sometimes I feel like I'm super obnoxious and persistent, but at the end of the day, you kind of have to have that persistence in you. So, and I'm sure you can relate to that as well.
She's an ambitious investigative reporter.
Yes, exactly. Exactly. So let's spill some tea. So I know I kind of told you what I wanted to talk about. Of course I do want to touch on Drag Race because that's how a lot of people know you. I will say I think that as sad and as tragic as this pandemic is, and I don't know if you know these numbers, but I feel like a lot of people have nothing else to do on Friday nights. I mean, I never have anything to do on Friday nights, but I think that viewership went up, kind of the hype and the fandoms and people picking their queen went up. Did you experience any of that firsthand?
Well, no, because I mean, I just sat and watched on TV the same way as everyone else on my couch here. But they tell us that the viewers were up, so that's exciting. They said it was the highest rated season of Drag Race, which is really amazing.
Yeah,
So I don't know how many of those were new viewers or how many of those were viewers who used to go to viewing parties where, at a viewing party, not every viewer is counted.
it's
That's
true.
where we met at the viewing
Yeah,
party at Mickey's, which was the one and only out of town viewing party I did the second week before everything shut down.
that's
So,
right.
but there were probably, I'm going to guess 200 people at Mickey's. I'm going to
Oh,
guess.
easily. It
Yeah.
was, yeah, it was a lot of people. And I'm glad I got to see you before everything shut down because I think the next week Aiden hosted and then it was shut down. So I'm really glad that I got to see you before this all happened.
Yeah, it's wild that was the one and only out of town viewing party I got to do.
Yeah,
Kids are very excited that I've scruffed. Yes, I did take. I've been off drag for the last week after Pride. I made myself unbookable on cameos. I took a little week off for myself, so I'm just living my beard a loca. I don't know if that is. But
you look lovely. And I know you were the trade of season 12 for me and for a lot of other people. And I actually saw an interview you did, and you were like kind of surprised about that, which I thought was so funny because I think it's pretty obvious to all the viewers.
what I love about our cast, I think it's a very attractive cast
Oh,
overall. I
totally.
think
Everyone.
there's something for everyone. So if your thing is nerdy half Persian boys, then I'm here for you.
Amazing, amazing. I love it. Yeah, so the other thing I wanted to ask about Drag Race, my friend actually thought of this question. He's a big fan, and I'm like, I'm gonna take that, but my conscience will not allow me to ask it without giving you credit. So Sam, love you, Sam. If you could have substituted a challenge from your season, like got rid of it and then replaced it with a challenge from a different season, which one would you have traded in?
Okay, this is gonna sound really dumb, but I know it's only a mini challenge, but I would have loved to do the Rachel Maddow teleprompter challenge, the mini challenge
Yes, from
from
season
last season.
11.
I would have crushed that. I would
Yeah.
have been so good. I
Oh,
would have.
you totally would have.
I mean, I will say, I love Rachel. I watch her show almost every night.
Oh.
I love what she has to say about the world. I love how she tells stories.
Mm-hmm.
And I would have campaigned to like go be on her show in some capacity. I don't know what. Does she need a drag correspondent? If not, look, Eva, you're very good. So you just go make it happen somehow.
I can make it happen. I'll look up her publicist or whoever it is later, and I will make it happen. Try to make it happen. I don't want to make any promises, but I can try, of
Yeah,
course.
that's the one challenge from a previous season. I mean, there's other challenges I love too, but that's the one I was like, oh my god, I would have loved that challenge. And
Yeah.
Scarlett won that one, and I love her, so good for her.
Oh, Scarlet Envy, so funny, iconic, so iconic. And the other thing I wanted to ask about Drag Race, it's more so just about drag in general, is I noticed you did a lot of stage shows and a lot of just digital shows on King's Queens, Instagram, and just tons of digital things. And I think that because of that, drag has been exposed to more people. Um, of course, not in person, but would you agree that in a way, it's actually been consumed by more people than it would have been?
I don't know about more people, but certainly a broader range of people, I would hope. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, it's hard to say because, in my fantasy, we were touring these huge arenas with like
I know.
thousands of people. And that is also in my fantasy. So who knows? The real life could have not been that at all. But certainly we've gotten to people all over the world way faster than we would have if we'd only been performing live. So that's amazing because almost all these shows you can see from almost anywhere in the world, which is really exciting to have the fans from everywhere actually be able to see us perform right after
Mm-hmm.
seeing us on TV and kind of see what the kind of shows that we like to do. You guys kind of got a taste of Jackie a little bit in some of my stage it shows, kind of my type of show, my type of humor. But yeah, that's probably it's been a mixed blessing in that way, in that we've been able to at least reach some people who are interested in seeing us, but at the same time, like there's nothing that replaces the feeling of like a live audience. So that's
I
definitely something.
know. Yeah. I mean, there's nothing that replaces me being front row watching you at Mickey's. That was amazing.
Oh, yeah, I was very silly that night. I mean, hosting is one of my favorite things to do. So I definitely loved, cracking jokes with Widow and Heidi, who I love so much. That was really fun.
Yeah, that was great. And yeah, like you said about the live shows, it's a broader range, like a bigger demographic, because a lot of venues, such as Mickey's, are 21 plus. So it's
Yeah,
nice that kids are able to be exposed to drag, if their parents are okay with it. So I think that's also a perk.
totally.
And then I wanted to talk a little bit about just your activism because I think it's really cool. Valentina had said in an interview one time that like she doesn't consider herself to be a super political person, but when she is able to speak out, she can, and she can reach millions of people and use her platform, her visibility as a form of activism. And I know that you've been very politically involved, even before Drag Race. So, do you have any updates on kind of charities you're working with? I know you've been big with Black Lives Matter. Anything else you want to talk about?
Ooh, this is a big question. Well,
Yeah,
first I'll
did
talk
I
about
say
the.
it too fast? I was like,
No, 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 no. It's a big topic, so I wanna definitely talk about it in a way. I think the first thing I want to say is I'm gonna give everyone a pass prior to maybe this year if politics was something that they didn't want to engage with or didn't feel like they needed to engage with. I think this year has proven to everyone that it's important for all of us to figure out how we can become engaged. and it's going to look different for everyone. But the first step is to just learn about what's happening. And I think there's so much happening right now with the global pandemic and how it's disproportionately affected Black and Brown communities here in the United States and what that means. And then leading up to all of the protests against the police brutality that we've been seeing for years. And I think all of these things don't happen kind of in isolation. So it's important for everyone to kind of like, just that the first step is to just kind of learn as much as they can. And, you know, while we have time still at home, it's a great time to learn a little bit. You know, watch the Rachel Maddow show, or whatever you can to kind of get informed. So I want everyone to kind of feel empowered to do that, even if in the past they felt like they couldn't. And then for me specifically, right, I was kind of on that level probably a year ago, you know, speaking out where I could, but I didn't have a platform the way I do now. I had a small platform and I was trying to do what I could with my drag. And now that I have a much bigger platform, I do feel a sense of responsibility to use that platform for good. So I'm trying to, you know, in the past month, a lot of it really was amplifying the Black Lives Matter movement. And that's going to continue for me forever. You know, I'm now following all of these amazing activists, a lot of whom I've posted either in my stories or in my posts that I want all of you to go and follow and learn from, because I'm certainly not the expert of the Black Lives Matter movement. I'm an ally here to amplify the voices of those who really are the leaders of the movement. And I think it's important for everyone to follow those people and to listen. And part of listening is not asking them a lot of questions. It's just taking your time to do the research yourself, because everything is out there. You just have to kind of learn about it and then be that voice to lift up and amplify those voices as well. And then I think the Black Lives Matter movement is going to continue on forever, right? Until we are all equal, which will be probably for the rest of mine and your lifetimes. We're not. This isn't going to end. 400 years is not going to end very quickly. So we have to keep this going. A really easy access point for everyone who has a Netflix subscription is just to watch 13th. It's a really heartbreaking documentary, but it's so important to just watch and see, just to get a baseline understanding of the history and why this has been going on for so long, and some of the reasons it continues today, and the way that the trauma that Black Americans have faced has been built over centuries. So I think, you know, it all leads up to this moment. And that being said, there are also a few other causes that I'm passionate about. Voting, which is tied very closely to Black Lives Matter, is another one. And I would love everyone, if they're eligible to vote, to go get registered to vote. I post links in my bio often. If not, Drag Out the Vote is a great resource.
Love Drag Out
is another great resource. I'm working with both of them in different ways to help raise awareness on voting. And then another cause that's really important to me that I hope to continue talking about, and it's also affected by not only the mistreatment of Black people, but also the mistreatment of brown people in this country, is all of the rhetoric around immigration, asylum, and refugees here in the United States, and that affects Black people, that affects queer people, that affects Middle Eastern people, that affects certainly the Latin American world, and all of these disparate groups are being kind of pitched as an enemy to everyday Americans, and that's just not okay, and something that I feel very passionate about. You know, just hearing in the news that students who have visas to study here in the United States are probably not going to be able to continue their studies here. And that's, you know, the fact that student visas are even managed by ICE, which is honestly a horrible, it's another wing of the army at this point. An entirely brutal organization, is terrifying and should be terrifying to everyone. and is something that we should put a lot of pressure on our next president to rework that entire system.
Mm-hmm.
But the fact that, my mom moved here before she moved to Canada on a student visa. And the fact that someone like her wouldn't be able to study in the United States, even though she'd worked her whole life to be able to study medicine and help people. My mom did research her entire career on ways to help people, more recently in inflammatory bowel disease and Crohn's disease, which if you know those diseases, they are very debilitating. They still don't have a lot of treatments, but there's research being done to make them livable diseases. So to hear that students won't be able to continue their studies in the United States, who've worked their whole life to do this, is terrifying. To hear that queer refugees, like from Nigeria, who are being killed and abused, won't be able to seek asylum here in the United States is terrifying. So I really want to start talking about that as well. And that affects, that affects all of us, because that's really what this country is built on. And I feel that if we start stripping that away, then we're losing what America stands for and what it is, or what it's supposed to stand for and what it is.
Supposed to is the key word, yeah.
Whether or not it's ever really stood for that, I think is up for debate. But I think we, as I'm a millennial, you're a Gen Z, it's up to us to actually take this next step and make America into the land that we were promised it could be. I've lived here almost my whole life. Mm-hmm. Even though I was born in Canada, and even though I still claim Canadian citizenship, and even though my dad's family is still in Canada, I, care so much about this country, and this is the country where I have the biggest platform, and so this is the country whose policies I want to affect. And I know I have a lot of people reaching out to me about causes in different countries and parts of the world, and I'll do my best to attempt to amplify those, but I am focusing a lot of my energy and time and effort on what's happening here in the United States, because this is the country I live in and the country that I know I have at least some platform that's large enough to make some kind of difference.
Yes,
so
exactly.
That's kind of where I focus my activism a lot. And the last one I'll talk about is one that's really important to me, and something that I talked about a lot at the beginning of the pandemic, is the entire artistic community, especially here in New York City, who the performing arts community, Broadway, off-Broadway, drag, have been so crippled by this pandemic. And with Broadway not reopening for the rest of the year, that's going to affect thousands of people. And it's going to disproportionately affect Black and brown members of the theatrical community. Theater is already somewhat of a privileged, I won't say a privileged job, but there's an amount of privilege you can have to get into theater, right? Your parents have, in theory, paid for dance classes or singing classes or voice classes, and for those in the Black and brown community who are already just fighting for roles, just fighting for jobs, fighting for access to being part of the Broadway community, now knowing that they're going to be losing all of their benefits, their unemployment, all of the funds that they were, going to rely on to stay a part of this community, and all of that's going to be stripped away. We have to do better, and we have to support, especially those out of work members of our community, and especially those who are disproportionately affected by COVID. It's not a coincidence that Black and brown people are disproportionately affected by COVID. It's because of the lack of access to healthcare, resources, being able to live in a separate, isolated space. Those are all things that, in general, white people have had more access to here in the United States. The ability to run off to their parents, I'm making this up, to their parents' homes, wherever they are, and isolate themselves separately. I think a lot of Black and brown folks in this Broadway community haven't been able to have that same kind of access. So I'm going to try to start fighting for them as well. And, I do feel like Broadway is, where my heart is in my community. So I'm going to do what I can. Sorry, that's why I said it was a big answer.
No, don't be sorry. I'm like very inspired, and I think you just proved something to me that I was kind of, toying around with. Like, you even said, like, you're not like the most political person, and a lot of people aren't. And it's like, just after hearing you and how you're able to speak from your own experiences rather than, do all this just spitting out facts, which of course you did give some facts, but you're also relating it back to you and how you live in America and how you're immersed in performing arts. I think that's a really powerful statement because it's hard for me to even feel like I can't speak up. And I'm sure a lot of people agree because it's the type of thing, it's like, I don't want to say the wrong thing, but if you can speak from experience, I think it's so powerful. And you just showed me that. So
I'm here for you, however you are.
yes. Yes, no, that was great. And I think specifically with performing arts, a lot of people are not aware that a lot of their downtime activities are performing arts. If I'm watching Netflix, I'm consciously thinking this is possible because of art. We're all going back to the art in this time. So I'm really glad you brought that up.
Yeah, and it's a time to, if you have the ability and the privilege to, use that however you can. So
Exactly.
for all
Yeah.
of us, I think we're all learning that, and I think the most important thing is to just try and do.
Yeah, and I think also something that's been helping me is I do watch the news, but I sometimes get confused or whatever it may be. So I figured out my kind of passion or something I'm interested in, kind of something you said is the intersectionality between race and medicine. So currently I'm reading a book all about Henrietta Lack's HeLa cells. So that's taught me so much about the injustices within the healthcare system. So I think if everyone can kind of find, a topic and then explore that further, it's a lot easier than trying to, consume everything in holistically at once. So for anyone out there, if you've been struggling with that, I just wanted to say that.
Amazing. Yeah, post it in your stories.
I will. Okay, I did like a week ago, but I will again. I promise.
Post it again. This thing is, I sometimes feel guilty about posting too much, and then I'm like, you know what? If I feel like I want to post something, I'm gonna post it. So some days I have like 40 stories about things I want to talk about. Other days I have like one. It's whatever. There's no. I think people make up. There's too many rules about social media. You do. It's yours. It's your Instagram profile. You do it with it whatever you want. That's my advice to everyone out there, because all of you have Instagram profiles who are commenting. It's your profile to do what you want with, and never feel like you have to wait because, I don't know, the algorithm. You can't think that way. You can't think about an algorithm. If there's something you want to say and share, just go do it. Share it.
Yeah, I love that because I'm used to get caught up in the algorithm. I still kind of do. But that's more for selfish reasons. I want my selfie to get a lot of likes. So again, why I just admitted that, I don't know. But thank you for reminding me it's okay. I don't need to think like
Okay.
that. Yeah. And I just had a couple more things. I know we went over time. Are you okay or do you need to go?
Sure. Yeah. Let's ask me another.
Okay, cool. You're awesome. Another question, my friend actually thought of this one, and I'm like, I'm gonna steal this question. Again, give credit. But it ties back to everything we just talked about. If Jackie Cox, like, think of yourself kind of as a brand company, was to have a mission statement, what do you think it would be? And I know that's so on the spot, so you could think about it.
I don't know what exactly it would be, but something about, that, like, I don't know. So I think a lot of the things, like, I've talked about in some ways. I think I'm someone who has a lot of passion in everything I do. So something about that, something about, at the same time that I have a lot of, serious feelings about a lot of things, is to not take myself that seriously. I'm still just a dorky guy who's also a drag queen. Like, that's not like, I'm not really, saving lives. I'm just doing what I can to raise awareness. So at the same time, something in there. I'll let the kids write out my mission statement, and then we'll discuss at some point. But yeah, I think it's just something about having fun, being passionate, and putting your heart in everything you do. Something like that.
No, I love that. I think that's super powerful. And yeah, anyone watching, you can DM me like your ideas to make it into a really cool mission statement, and I'll review it and then get back to you if you
Ooh,
so
okay,
wish.
yeah, challenge for the people.
Amazing, amazing. And I noticed you tweeted something, I think it was just yesterday, about how during this time, well, just during any time now that you have a platform, you're getting a lot of messages, and people are asking when you're coming here. So I know you said you can't answer all of them, and maybe just kind of want to expand on that, because I know a lot of people unfortunately take it personally, but they don't realize it's literally impossible. So
Well, okay, I'll break it down. The first one is I want to come to every country in every part of the world, in every city. If you have a venue and a bar who is ready to pay for me to fly out there and perform, you go lobby them. And when it's safe to do, I will be there.
amazing.
So I think that's the first one. Everyone always says, come here, come there. Like someone just said, hello from Kuwait. I would love to go to Kuwait. I'd love to perform in the Middle East. I don't know when and where and how, if that will ever be possible, but just so you guys know, I want to do it. So I definitely want to go out there and meet all of you. And then the next one is a lot of the fans ask a lot of questions, some of which I can answer, but a lot of them I just, A, I don't have a strong opinion, or B, I just don't know if I should be focusing on answering questions that I'm not sure are super important. You know, as much as I love to explain to all of you which are my favorite blanks, foods, TV shows, movies, books, if we went down that list, that would be like all of my time just kind of talking about everything that I love. So I can't answer all of those questions, but I do answer some of them. And then the last one is I love that you guys want me to say things, you know, to say. Are you back? There you
I'm
are.
back. Yeah, it was weird. I don't know if it paused for anyone else, but yeah, it paused for me, which is weird. So I don't know, but someone said it paused for them as well. So maybe if you want to just reiterate, I think the last thing you said, which was just about like your favorites and stuff. Okay.
All of the questions. That's just what it is. But I do appreciate all of the engagement and the energy you guys have. I love all the engagement. It feels very really cool.
Yeah.
And I think they said they couldn't hear the last part, but yeah, that's basically it. I love you guys, and I'm sorry I can't do and say everything that you guys want. Someday we'll make a virtual robot Jackie, and she will do whatever you guys want.
That would be amazing. Another thing, I don't know if you plan to start YouTube. I know a lot of people are doing YouTube. You could do like a Q&A there and just do like the top 10 most asked questions. I don't know. And then, yeah, or like a video like Jackie's favorites or something. And then
The
just
thing
do
is,
that
I'm
there.
not gonna lie to you. I'm not good at favorites. I love too many things. Like everyone's like, "What's your like?" I was never one of those kids who had like a favorite color and a favorite book and a favorite. I never was one of those kids. I just always, I'd like something on its own merits, and then maybe I'd like a different thing. I'm probably just not good at comparing things because I like to appreciate everything for what it is. You know, so like I love Star Trek is one of my favorite things, but it's not like my most favorite thing. It's just one fandom that I love so much. But like I also love Back to the Future, even though there are two very different movies, and I won't say even movies. Back to the Future is a set of movies, but Star Trek is so much more than that.
Yeah.
But they're two very different things, and I love them both for their different qualities. I guess I love things for what they are, and the answer to everyone is I love almost all kinds of food. I don't like a lot of meats. I don't eat really much fish or pork products or much beef. I eat a little bit of chicken and some like ground beef, and like that's kind of it. I'm just not. And my mom is vegetarian, so I didn't grow up eating a lot of meat.
Yeah.
So it just kind of tastes funny to me. But I have no qualms with any other foods. I love all vegetables. I love carbs.
Me too.
Love carbs.
Oh, good.
That's. I hope that answered people's very important questions.
Yeah, you know what? Maybe it'll be faster for you to just say which foods you don't like, which you basically just did. And then anything else, just know that, yes, guys, Jackie does like that food.
I probably will like that food.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for this interview. Like I said earlier, it's been awesome just following your journey and then seeing you in person. It's been great following you and being able to finally do this. Yeah, you're my first interview from season 12 actually, which is super cool and special for me.
Well, I'm very honored. Thank you so much.
Of course, yeah.
And to everyone out there, like, hey, hustle VH1, and maybe you'll get one too.
Yes, definitely. One last thing, one last thing. It's shameless self promo, but that includes two things: social media, which we're on Instagram, but anything else. And then also your merch. I know you have some new merch. Awesome. So.
Yeah. Well, I'm Jackie Cox NYC across all platforms. So I think all of the links to most of everything is in my bio, including my merch. I do have a new T-shirt that launched. It's a Charisma Uniqueness Nerd and Talent T-shirt. So that's my new T-shirt. And then I also have 2 specials on my site right now. You can get all 4 of my pins from season 12. So that includes my genie with the bottle. That's 2 pins. My entrance look pin and my promo look pin. All 4 for $40. That's a great deal.
Oh yeah.
And then I'm also doing my Here for Cox set. So you can get a Here for Cox T-shirt and a Here for Cox face mask for $40. So there's 2 specials on my site right now. You can either go to mybestjudymerch.com or JackieCoxNYC.com will redirect you. So if you just remember Jackie Cox NYC, you'll be golden. If you go to JackieCox.com, you'll find the Christian country singer Jackie Cox, which is not.
Good to know. Hopefully people will see that there's a big difference between a country singer and a drag queen.
Well, I could always go into it.
Oh, so now you're going to get into music.
Maybe not country music.
Okay. Some type of music, pop music maybe.
I'll do my own thing.
Amazing. Well, I look forward to that as well. And I really look forward to hopefully seeing you back in LA when this all ends, maybe at Hamburger Mary's or something like that. Or Mickey's again. And for everyone else, just know that Jackie will try to get everywhere as soon as it's safe and, not a risk to do so.
Yes. And for everyone out there, when you're out in public, just wear a mask. They can be very cute.
Yeah, it's so easy. I have a Mickey Mouse one. It's adorable. People think I'm 12, but people already think I'm 12, so I don't really care. So, yeah, they have cute designs, guys.
One of my favorite ones is my Jan face crack mask, which is also on mybestjudymerch.com. And you can get her mask and my mask and only pay for shipping once.
I'm so going to do that. Shout out to My Best Judy. Shout out to Gina. Love you, girl.
Yeah, Gina's amazing. So go support Gina because Gina supports all of us. And I know Gina's already helping out some of even though she can't formally help them out, I know she's trying to help out some of the new Canada's Drag Race queens, just doing what she can, so Gina's amazing. So go support My Best Judy merch. She's, now she's helping Crystal with her merch. So I think you can get Crystal Method merch now through My Best Judy.
Oh, it's great. Yeah, so I think probably like half the queens from season 12 now are probably on My Best Judy. But for those that aren't, I guess just go to their websites because everyone has merch of some sort. So.
Thanks so much for having me.
Of course. Yeah, thank you so much for being willing to do this and, speaking with me over time. I really appreciate that. I know I had said like 15 minutes, but I'm glad that we were able to kind of speak beyond that because I think you had really important things to say.
Mwah.
Lots of love to you.